This is Neil Life Nutrition Juicing video number 2, and in this video we're going to be going over specifically how to prepare and wash your fruits and vegetables, because that's actually the precursor to being an effective juicer, which we talked about in our last video. So I'm not going to focus on the juicing in this video or what we're juicing, we're just going to focus more on how to prepare your stuff. Whatever season it is and whatever you're juicing, you need to wash your fruits and vegetables. And the reason why this is important, if you've been to one of our Neil Life Nutrition workshops or intend to come to one, we like to advocate washing your fresh fruits and vegetables because we advocate juicing as a part of whole food nutrition. And we teach in our workshops the difference between organic and non-organic produce and how it's important to know your farmer and to get your own stuff. But the bottom line is anybody should be able to be an effective juicer, regardless of whether you bought organic or non-organic, because something's on the Dirty Dozen list or the Clean 15 list. You need to know that you should wash all of your fruits and vegetables. And even if it comes out of your own garden, you would still rinse it off in the sink. Or if it comes from someone you know, say a citrus tree in the valley or something like that, just simply because of the air quality and possible pollution, you should always, just for good measure, wash your fruits and vegetables. The only things that we're not going to wash are the things that we're going to remove the peel on the outside from. But any surface that would come into contact that would go into the juicer should be washed, other than what you're going to peel. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I already have my sink full here with some green. Now, it's important for me to tell you what I'm washing my fruits and vegetables in. One of the reasons why we teach this is because there's so many different veggie washes and things that you can buy out there that are available on the market. And really the problem is, we also talk about this in our workshop, you don't know what the ingredients are in that wash. And because of labeling laws, the manufacturer doesn't have to tell you all the ingredients that are inside whatever it is you're washing your fruits and vegetables. And so you want to make sure that you're washing your fruits and vegetables in something that is not in itself toxic, and not just using something like petroleum-based average dish soap or something like that. And you also want a product, more specifically than what it doesn't have, you want a product that has in it protein-based enzymes, that has enzymes in it that will go down and break off those pesticides. And I'm about to show you why that's so important, because the types of pesticides that are used. This is a kelp-based protein wash, and this is the same thing that I use to wash my hands all the time. It's pH neutral, which means it doesn't dry your hands out, it actually heals your hands. Kelp is a well-known skin healer throughout the world. It's a product that people have been using for a long time. And this wash, what it basically does is it goes on and it lifts off the dirt and it removes those things, and it does kill the bad bacteria, but it also has the ability to take off what are called surfactants, which are waterproof pesticides. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the produce that I'm going to have here. You see that I have some celery, because it's a winter vegetable, really healthy for you. You want to try to juice more vegetables than fruits. I also have some kale right here, so I'm going to put the kale in here. The next thing I have are some carrots. Now, we mentioned before that you should always buy carrots with the tops on them with the sprouts, because then you know that these carrots don't have bud nip sprayed on them. You should always cut the tops off of these carrots. You buy them with the sprouts to know that they're not sprayed with bud nip, which is a toxic chemical. And then once you've removed the sprouts from the carrots, you just put your carrots in the wash as well. And I'm only going to put a couple in this juice because carrots are sweet and I only need a couple servings of them today. I've put everything in here that I want for the juice except for one thing. And then the next thing that I'm going to put in my juice is actually broccoli. So here, this is just some organic broccoli that I bought from the store. You see that I have 2 heads, but I'm going to place the broccoli stalk that I want to be juiced into the green right now. The next thing I'm going to show you, while this stuff is soaking real quickly, here you have a piece of broccoli that has not been washed, and we're just told that when we buy stuff from the store, we should just rinse it off. So if you can see here, I'm just going to rinse this off real quick, but the problem with that is if you get a close-up, you can see that the water just runs right off of the broccoli. It just beads right off. It's basically waterproof. Now the type of pesticide they use, which I said earlier was a surfactant, glues the pesticides onto the broccoli. And that's a good thing in the sense that we don't want the pesticides constantly running off into our water supply or into the dirt. And you don't want several applications of pesticide onto the produce that you're going to be buying and consuming. The only negative thing is you can't get that off if you just simply rinse it off in the sink. And most people who are buying broccoli to be a cancer-fighting food, a really healthy food for them and their family, actually are then consuming a pesticide that is the reverse. It's a carcinogen, and it's important to wash that off and remove that. And so I have this head of broccoli which has only been rinsed. Again, you can see the water just bounces right off because it's waterproof. It's got a Weta sticker on it. But I've got another head of broccoli that's been in the wash right here. The next thing I'm going to do while this stuff is just soaking for a minute or so, and I could wash everything at the same time if I wanted, just to have it all prepared beforehand. So I'm going to do that after this demonstration. I'm going to put everything here in the wash it, and put it in the fridge, and then I can make juice throughout the next few days of the week and not have to worry about washing it again. That's the nice thing about this. I'm going to peel my apple as usual. We always peel our apples because we know of the wax that's on the outside of the apple if they're a store-bought apple. So I'm going to peel the apple. The next thing I'm going to peel is the lemon. It's really important to peel your citrus if it's a store-bought citrus because the pores on the lemon and the skin on the lemon actually absorb a lot of whatever is sprayed on them, the pesticides, and there's also intermediaries between the stores and the people who you get your produce from at the end product who might put something on the lemon to make it more shiny and just to look presentable in the store. And that's partially to preserve it and also to have it look good for the apples to be shiny, for the lemons to be shiny. But again, we don't want to be consuming those chemicals on the food that we're going to be eating, so we want to wash those off. And the lemon, I'm not going to put in the wash to wash it off. I'm actually just going to peel the lemon because some of it may not come off in the wash, and the lemon is porous, and so it's more important that I get that off. If you're juicing something like an orange, you're going to peel that anyway because you never want to juice to peel up an orange. If you're going to juice a citrus like a lemon or a lime, you could use the peel. I would advise only doing that were you using a lemon or a lime that is from the tree or the house of someone that you know, or if you know the farmer and they didn't put anything on it. And in that case, you could easily just take the lemon with the peel on it and put it in the green just to wash off whatever might be in the air or just some dirt or something that might be in the lemon. So you see here my lemon's washed. You'll notice that I actually didn't peel it like I would an orange to where I see the veins or anything like that, but I peeled it with the peeler. And that's important because the really beneficial things to fight cancer and the most beneficial elements that contain vitamin C in the lemon are actually found in this white here, which is called the pith. And the pith is really important because it contains those flavonoids that you need to accompany the vitamin C in order to kill cancer and just get you a really healthy dose of immune-fighting nutrients. The next thing that I'm going to peel is just a little chunk of ginger, so I'm going to cut the chunk off that I want. Just going to use a real little bit of ginger. And this ginger is also store-bought, so I'm going to make sure that I peel this outer layer of the ginger because I don't know necessarily what's on there. And when I don't know what's on a food or a produce, basically whatever I have, I'm going to make sure that I go the distance to make it healthy and make it safe for me to consume. And so I've just peeled this little knuckle of ginger here. And with that, it's time to see how our stuff has been washed. Now, I'm pulling this head of broccoli out first because I was using the example of the broccoli having the wettest sticker, and obviously the broccoli is a little bit bigger and this is more of a surface area to have pesticides sprayed on than rather than a leaf of kale or something like that. And so I want to compare the two heads of broccoli. You can already see right here that this head on the left here that has been soaking rather than just rinsed off, this head here actually looks a totally different color and you get a lot of the coloration and the pigment. Versus this one, it still has a little bit of a gloss to it, you can tell. It almost looks like it wasn't rinsed off at all. And again, that's because it's got a waterproof surfactant pesticide on it. Now, this broccoli over here on the other end has been washed, and so you can see that when I go to run water through this piece of broccoli, the water runs right through. Here again is the other piece of broccoli. You can see the water just beads and bounces right off. And then this one, it just runs right through. So now I have broccoli that is safe and cancer fighting and good and ready for me to juice, and one that is not yet. So I'm going to put this one in the wash because that needs to be washed for next time. And this head of broccoli is now clean. So all I have to do is just rinse it off a little bit, and that broccoli is ready to go. The broccoli, like I said, has more of a surface area, and I know if the broccoli's clean, then everything else in here, which is a lot easier to clean and doesn't necessarily have a wet stick on it, everything else in here is going to be clean. So I'm going to pull my celery and my kale and all my other elements out. I'm going to rinse those off so that I can juice them. That right there is how to wash and prepare your fresh fruits and vegetables. You notice that I peeled what needed to be peeled, I washed what needed to be washed. I'm just going to take everything out of the sink, let it dry a little bit, put it in the juicer, and we're going to have a delicious juice for you.